Hey everybody! On this episode of Do Not Look Like What You're Going Through. Y'all know what day it is. It is Thursday. So that means that it is another day of Crystal Talks Cancer. Thank God that we have made it to another week, another opportunity to be transparent, to be of support to those who may need it. As I get myself... Look at me, I'm pressing the wrong button. As I get myself situated to go live with our guests, I am very honored to have our guests come on tonight. And y'all know how we do it. I'm here early, so if you're rewatching this is definitely the rerun. I mean the beginning. So don't get worried if I'm just here babbling for a little while. This is the beginning. So you can probably skip forward. Let me see, about 15 minutes, or I say about 13 minutes. And because we will start at 8 o'clock. The goal is to start on time. But as you know, I take this opportunity to tag everyone, to add everyone from groups, to cross share and post and do all of those things. So please bear with me. And again, like I said, I'm very intentional with things like this, like today, y'all, because this week, I'm not going to say this week, but I will say it has been full of emotions. And we're going to get into all of that tonight. We're going to get into all of that tonight. So again, on this episode of We Not Going to Look Like What We Going Through, I showed up and I dressed up today because of that same reason. When I tell you guys and ladies that whenever I come on here, let me see, y'all. I'm trying to cross share our post really quick. Whenever I try to tell you guys and gals, when I'm going through something, I try my best not to let it show. And a lot of people feel as if, once you have gone through the journey and your hair grows back, you good to go. You're ready to bounce back into the world and everything is great. And let me tell y'all something. Being in medically induced menopause, it is ghetto. I have come to the reality that I am not in control of my emotions in these days, but God. And we're going to talk about a lot of those things. I feel like a lot of that is going to come up here tonight. So if you are watching, please let me know that you're watching. Please let me know that you are in the room. If you are friends with someone that you know is normally here and you do not see them here, please make sure that you tag them so that they will know that we're live. If you know someone who is currently going through the journey, who may need support, please make sure that you are tagging them in this post and that you are sharing this to your friends, because I will be honest with y'all, a lot of times we don't even know who's going through what. You will be surprised how many people go through this journey and don't even tell anybody that they're going through this journey. So when I say I need support, I mean I really do need you guys to share this, because I cannot reach those who don't even know that Crystal Talks Cancer doesn't exist. So I need support in that manner to spread awareness and to continue making the reach. I am looking down right now because I am tagging people. And that's another thing. Like, I really have to get back in the habit of, writing down who are, because there's so many people, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta tag this person, I gotta tag that person, and I end up forgetting, and not necessarily forgetting, but I'm like so overwhelmed with the amount of names that's coming across my forehead that I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't want to forget anybody. Let me see who's here. If you're here, let me know that you're here. I see that our guest is here. I will bring you on shortly. I am just trying to push the go button on this on this the sharing and tagging and things. Shawanda, who's in the house? Who is in the house tonight? Who is ready for a transparent conversation? How is everybody's week going? What is your mental like? Like, let's really talk about it. Let's really and truly talk about that tonight. If you're shy, please don't be shy. This is a safe place, and I encourage you all to ask your questions. Even with the guest that comes on tonight, people who come here on Crystal Talks Cancer, we're all here for the sole purpose of helping one another get through this journey, or helping the next person get through the journey and thrive. Who's here? Let me know who in the house. Y'all, please don't be shy. Please do not be shy tonight. Let's talk about it. And like I said, this week has been an emotional roller coaster. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, and I'm gonna bring our guest on, because I don't think we're gonna have any problems connecting her, because I can see her on the thing. So I'm gonna give it a second before our guest comes on. But let me tell y'all just for a quick second, because like I said, I got a feeling we're gonna talk about this too. But how many of you guys who are watching are in a medically induced menopause because of going through cancer, breast cancer? How many of y'all deal with the ups and downs, the roller coaster of emotions while being in a medically induced menopause? Let me tell y'all something. It's ghetto. It's like I'm like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes. Like, I'm up, I'm down, I'm over here, I'm left to the right. Sometimes I want to be around people. Sometimes I'm like so overwhelmed that I have to, like, okay, Crystal, focus, focus, focus. That has been the gist of my week this week. And when I went to the doctor and spoke with my practitioner, my oncology team, I'm constantly reminded your age, the traumatic experience that you've been through, then you're in medically induced menopause, so you're going to deal with the ups and downs, the roller coaster. You're going to deal with the anxiety. You're going to have bouts of depression. And I'm like, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want no parts of it. And so I tried to manage. And let me tell y'all something. You know, a lot of people say when you're dealing with anxiety, there's something about faith and the lack thereof. And I'm like, no, this is not a lack of faith, baby. This is something else. This is something that some of us cannot control. And ironically, last night, as me and my husband were going through a Bible plan, it was about anxiety, right? And they were saying in the plan, it mentioned about being in menopause and how you can't control that because it's a chemical imbalance. So, like I said, we're going to talk about a lot of these things tonight. Hey, Shay. We're going to talk about a lot of. Let's see. Let's get our guest on here. It says adding. So we're going to give it a second because we're not going to have any issues tonight, okay? This week, these emotions have been enough. Absolutely enough, okay? It's been enough. It's been enough. So this is going to smooth sail. Do you see where I put that I wanted you to join? Because it says adding on my end. Let me see. It still says adding. Let me see. Shay, how are you, love? How is everything going? Joan, how are you? It said connection failed. Okay, let me try one more time. Because we're not playing with it today. We're not gonna play with it today. It's going. to come through and we're not going to have any problems. Okay, do you see? Let me try this. Do you see an option where it says request to join this live? If you see that, please push that for me. I'm trying to see which child that is. I don't. I'm trying to join our guests. But if you want to join while because we can pop more than one person on at a time right now. We can chat while we're working out the kinks. Let me see. Yes, it's coming through. Why is not letting me accept it though? Okay, what changed? What happened? It's not giving me the option to accept. Okay, we're not doing this tonight, Facebook. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. Okay, can you try and send it again? Because it's not giving me the option. No, I'm okay. Now I'm okay. Hey, Toya. Thank you for coming on. Like I said at the beginning, y'all, this is the episode where we not finna look like what we going through, okay? Let me see. It says adding on my end. I don't know. Okay, can you do me a favor and go out of the live? Like, go out of Facebook. Don't log out or anything, but just go out of Facebook and then come back in, and we're going to try it again. Because I don't know why it's doing that. And when you come back in, just request to join again. Because we're not going to do this tonight, y'all. This is going to run smoothly, okay? I'm not even going to get worked up about this. So she's gonna go. She's gone for a moment. She's gonna log out of the live and pop back in because it's giving us a connection issue. Um, okay, okay. So we didn't have to do all that. Look at God. Am I gonna be able to see you tonight? Is the question. Can you
I think
hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
I
Facebook.
can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay. Do you have your laptop by you?
Um,
I mean, it's optional. So I was gonna say if you wanna grab your laptop and just turn it on so that you can see me, because I have my laptop and I can see you on my laptop.
okay.
It's up to you, but on your end, I can see you perfectly.
Okay.
Um, I can't on my laptop. I can see you perfectly, but on my phone, it's the same. Facebook is doing something weird. Like we were talking about earlier with the deleting of
Right.
the videos.
Right.
Since that started, this has been happening, and I forgot to mention that because I thought
Yeah.
that you
No.
guys could see me.
Right.
So, would you like me?
Uh,
Do you want to grab your laptop or?
I'm not sure where it is, so let's just go with it this way, if that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I can see you
Okay.
perfectly on I'm looking at you on my laptop, and you're perfect. You're centered. If you want to like sit your phone down somewhere and just kind of have the conversation, then we're good.
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right, it's 8 o'clock, and I'm going to be a woman of my word because I want to make sure that I am obedient with your time tonight. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Perfect.
Can I can I get some hearts and some likes or something to let me know that we got people in here and we're not just talking to ourselves? Can y'all tell us hi in the comments or something? Is it a slow night? Like, where is everybody at? We quiet tonight. We're not gonna be quiet. We're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna be quiet tonight. We're gonna have an amazing, transparent conversation. Okay? We're gonna have an amazing, transparent conversation tonight. Okay. So we got action. We got people here. So we're not talking to ourselves. Look at God. So I want to go over a couple of disclaimers before we get started. First of all, this is a safe space. Our journeys are our journeys, and our journeys are not a reflection of what your journey will be or what your journey may look like. We are transparent. This is not anything that is meant to scare anybody. This is not a place of bringing fear. We are not doctors. We are just sharing our experiences and giving love, light, and support to those who really need it. Um, I want to be clear. Do not come here and take away um, the if there is anything that you may think or think that's negative. We're gonna take what we need and we're gonna leave what we don't. Um, Chemo brain is real, and she may pop up here and there, and that is okay. That is perfectly fine. We are a supportive community, like I said before. So we will listen and we will not judge. And if we have chemo brain, we just gonna slide on to the next topic, or we're gonna try to revisit where we left off. And stars are very much appreciated so that we can build the algorithm and get these videos where they need to go to the people that they need to reach. The goal here is to create a supportive community and guide people through one of the toughest journeys of their life. The podcast, the show is called Crystal Talks Cancer because it is not just about breast cancer. However, a lot of the guests come here and we talk about breast cancer because I am a breast cancer survivor and I am more closely connected to those who have gone through their journey. So if you would like to come on and share your story, please do not hesitate to reach out. Please do not hesitate to ask questions as we go through this live tonight. This is why we are here. Ask all of your questions, get all of your support, and do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. We are here to give you hope and love. And without further ado, we are going to start our show. So, good evening.
Good evening.
Could you go ahead and just introduce yourself to everybody for us?
Sure. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me on. I've had a great drive to share as much as I can about my experience. So this is another and the best opportunity I've had so far to share. My name is Danika. I had my diagnosis in January last year, so January 2023, or sorry, 2024. I had a 5.1 centimeter tumor in my left breast. It was hormone positive, HER2 negative, and I underwent chemo and then bilateral mastectomy with an aesthetic flat closure. And then I went through radiation, and now I'm in the leg of the chemically induced menopause, which I'd be happy to talk at length about. And I'm happy to talk at length about any part of my journey, every part of my journey, and not just the medical part, but the emotional part, the family part, the work part, the self-care part, any of it. I'm an open book and just very happy to be here.
And we're going to dig into all of that. So, Danica, before we start, can you please tell people what life was like before you were diagnosed with breast cancer? Like, what was your life like? Was it stressful? Was it easy
Sure,
going?
yeah. Well, we're still in the wake of the pandemic. And so I think for the most part, people's lives were more on the stressful side. Mine certainly was. But mine was also real stressful because I was trying to get a small business off the ground. I had started a little coffee shop, and it just wasn't making the money it needed to. And I'm certain that some people out there can understand from experience, when you have your own business of any sort, money takes on a whole new level of stress. And so the 2 years preceding my cancer diagnosis were some of the more stressful years of my life. And I think that stress did contribute to my situation, which is a whole nother topic. Like, why did we get this cancer? And since I brought it up, I just really want to say, before I have anyone be led to believe that I think that just stress caused it, because I don't. I think I'll never know all of the reasons I got cancer. But I think that stress didn't help the situation.
Oh yeah, yeah. I totally agree. Um, I totally agree because it's really, and I tell everybody it's hard to pinpoint what it is. Even when people say, my doctor said I got it from, your doctor doesn't know. Sorry. I don't want to tell you,
Right,
nobody knows, but
right,
we know the amount of stress that we're
right,
under. And we do know that stress weakens the immune system.
right,
And since stress weakens the immune system, it's like anything that's been there waiting, whether it's because of a poor diet,
right,
whether it's whatever,
right.
environmental, once you're stressed
Mm-hmm.
out, your immune system goes
Right.
down. And
Yeah.
once your immune system goes down, it's like it opens the door for any and all different things
Yeah.
to come in. And yeah.
Yeah. That actually
So
brings me to one of the points that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned, which is I got my celiac diagnosis just this past July. And it's I've had untreated celiac for over 10 years, which I think was a big contributor to my cancer growth as well. And so I want to encourage everybody out there to get some general screenings of some common problems, especially when it comes to nutrient absorption in your body. So get like an anemia test. Like, I thought that they would screen for that sort of stuff at the beginning of my cancer, but there's times where you have to be your own advocate and say, get a list of the most common issues, and see if there's some underlying issues that your health has that could be, if treated and helped right now, could ease some of your issues with going through cancer treatment, or in my case, right, help to piece together some of your health puzzle of how did I end up in this kind of a situation.
mhm, yeah, yeah. Um, Danica, what was how did you find it? Like, how did you find out
Sure,
that
sure,
something was
sure.
wrong?
Yeah. I'm actually, now that you asked that, pretty lucky that it was a large enough tumor that I could feel it, because I was 39 years old. I was 6 years away from even thinking about my first mammogram.
Mhm,
So
yeah,
yeah, I felt it. I felt it, and I had large size D, sometimes double D breasts, and fibrous, right, dense breasts. And
yeah,
so I first thought, oh, I just have dense breasts. I have lumps in my breasts often. Maybe something's just swollen, which I think was something that you went through, Crystal, that you thought you were just had
yeah.
something swollen.
Yeah, it was the doctors told me because it was during the pandemic and I had started lifting weights with my husband. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this man trying to hurt me or something because my under my arm hurt and it's not
Right,
supposed to hurt. And I thought it was like the lack of proper
right.
form. And so the doctor was like, it was a sprain.
Oh, oh, wow.
And ironically, well, it was during
Right,
COVID. So I was not like at a doctor's
right. Where
office.
they
I
could do
was
an
just
exam, sure.
right. I was at home on a
Yeah,
um
teledoc.
yeah, on a teledoc
Mm-hmm,
call.
mm-hmm.
And it's ironic that you said that because I met a young lady today that basically told me the same thing about her friend. And she said that her friend's doctor told her the same thing that the doctor told me, that, oh, you were lifting weights. And so it sounds like you sprained something. So
Oh, wow.
I was just like, the things you find out when you really talk to people.
Right.
And it was like, it just brought back some
Sure.
things for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Crystal, remind
So,
me, you were diagnosed and went through treatment, you said in 2021, right?
yes, I was diagnosed in 21 at
Okay.
the age of 32.
Yeah. So now we're 4 years, because just thinking about, which is another big bullet point for me that I wanted to cover with everyone, is when I was first diagnosed, I thought to myself, oh, it'll just be a year. I'll just go through, jump right back up on my feet and be just fine afterwards. And now I'm at, month 16 or 17, right? So I think month 16. Anyway, I'm definitely over that first year.
Yeah.
And when I was first diagnosed and they told me, okay, it's going to be chemo, and then it's going to be surgery, and then it's going to be radiation, and it's going to be hormone therapy. When they said that schedule to me, I very erroneously assigned hormone therapy to be, oh, a couple weeks, couple months. When I got to the point where I was able to start really asking questions, because everybody, especially people listening who have just recently been diagnosed, you are going to have a fire hose of emotion and feeling and information, and you're going to be just kind of in a state of shock for a while. So it's okay if you don't know what to ask when, and it's okay if you don't have your wits about you. You're going through serious life or death situation here. So be really easy on yourself. So by the time I got to the point where I could ask questions about the hormone therapy and got the timeline of, oh, it's going to be 5 to 10 years of hormone therapy, that was a
Yeah.
real big shocker for me. That was, I think, post chemo, right around surgery, is when I was starting to ask those questions.
Yeah. And like, and it's crazy because I honestly thought that it would be like you said, and I'm gonna be. I'll say this. I said about a year, right? In my mind, I was like, oh, hormone therapy will probably be about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, it was like, before the residual, and I had to do more chemo. I had to do Kadcyla. It
Oh,
was
I'm not familiar with that.
5 years.
Yeah, yeah,
It was 5 years, and then it went to 5 to 10 years,
yeah.
and
Wow,
then it was like 10 years, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, that's a long time
that's a
to be
long
in a
time.
medically menopause
Yeah,
and going through it
yeah.
young.
Very
Oh,
young, very young. I think I have 3 or 4 years on you. I'm 40 years old. Um, and we're us women, biological women, we're supposed to, it's designed for us to gradually go into postmenopause, right? Perimenopause is supposed to hit, anywhere from 35 to 45, and then you're supposed to gently sail into postmenopause over 10 years. Not be,
yeah,
not be, what we're going through, which I didn't realize this. And I'm very grateful that we can share this. And, and honestly, like, I'm feeling this a little bit of a strange feeling right now about, I also don't want to alarm women who are out there listening, because, so I'm going to interject this thing real quick, which is, I am full of so much gratitude for life that goes so deep that I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I didn't go through this. And so it's all relative, right? It's always
yeah,
relative, and it's always in context. So I really do want to share as much information, as much of my thoughts and experiences, but I always want to put it back into that context that, wow, I am so grateful to be alive, and it's such a great, beautiful feeling to be
yeah,
so grateful.
yeah. And it's definitely one of those things that you wouldn't change. even though you
Right.
look back on it and you're like, I really went through
Right.
that. Like I have those days where I'm like, I really, and I can go and walk and look at myself in the mirror like I really went, like my body
Yeah.
really, you know,
Yeah.
like these scars are real. Like this
Yeah.
isn't makeup, this isn't Halloween, this is
Yeah.
real. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I told, I had them, and we did a couple night not too long ago. Y'all, when I tell, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this week has been hell on wheels for my husband.
No.
Okay, because the emotional aspects, and I'm being very transparent here. The emotional aspects of everything we don't really realize, and I'm transparent about it because I don't want y'all to feel like you're losing your mind. You're
Yeah.
not. If you're going through medically induced
Right.
menopause, you're going to have this up and down roller coaster of emotions. You're going to deal with anxiety. You're going to deal with depression. But let me tell you something. It's not because you're necessarily wanting to be depressed. Nobody wants to be
Right.
depressed. Nobody wants to be anxious,
Right.
right? Nobody wants to walk around feeling like their chest is tight and they are
No.
having a
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
time breathing.
Right.
This is something that happens because of the chemical imbalance.
Right.
But
Right.
what else does being in a medically induced menopause do?
Mm-hmm.
It messes with your brain chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one small thing can seem small or insignificant to one
Mm-hmm.
person, but it's the end of the world for you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
all of your emotions are intensified
Yeah.
to the highest
Right. Right.
power.
Right.
And my way of masking it is I have learned the art of just making people laugh.
That's
So
nice.
I'll laugh and I'll joke,
Yeah.
but then sometimes you have no idea. Like I'm a ball of anxiety
Right.
at
Right.
that given moment.
Right.
And sometimes I'll space out and walk away
Sure.
because
Sure.
it's hard to breathe or I'm
Right.
not focused because of the anxiety.
Right.
So when we're sharing these things, I share these not to scare anybody, not to deter you from taking the medical advice
Right.
and going through the medical menopause, but I want you to know what to look for because once you're there, I personally, and we don't want you to feel like you're losing it. Like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? Am I going crazy?
Right.
You're gonna have really high highs and very low
Right.
lows. This is coming from my care team.
Yeah.
They look me. She looked me in my face and she said, "Crystal, you're going to have really high highs
Mm-hmm.
and very low lows,
And
but
uh-huh.
you just gotta get through
Yeah.
that part."
Well, you talking about this is helping me a lot. I've just started on, I had to switch, which I wouldn't mind talking about this as well. I had to switch medical teams. Wow, was that
Oh yeah.
stressful? Oh, that was so stressful. When the insurance year closed out in November, I got informed that my team no longer carried my insurance, and I had to go find a new team and new doctors and new insurance, right? But I was able to get on Medicaid, and if that's another bullet point of mine, if women out there don't know that they most likely will be approved automatically for Medicaid if they have breast or cervical cancer,
Mhm.
to please ask a social worker about that. Find out from your state government if you can apply, and because if I would have known that at the beginning, it would have saved me a lot of money. And
I'm gonna be honest with you. I
mhm,
don't want to. I don't want to
sure,
cut you off. I do want to say this though. I'm gonna be
mhm,
honest with you. I said the same
yeah,
thing. If I would have known this beforehand,
right,
however,
right,
when I found out about it, I did try to apply for the
uh-huh,
breast and cervical Medicaid.
right.
But if you had any kind of 401k
Oh,
or if you
that's
had
right.
any
Uh-huh.
job or anything, you would not be approved for it.
Wow,
So
gosh.
and we did a resource live last week.
Okay. Uh-huh.
We did a resource live last week, I think.
Uh-huh.
On my days. all my
Right.
days. But we did a resource live and we talked about that.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very good point. And tell everybody where you are
I'm in
again.
Texas. So, yeah, I think it's different state by state. I think I'm in Texas.
I'm in Texas as well.
Oh.
That's and we didn't. Well, girl, we didn't even get that far. Like, isn't it? I'm in Texas too.
Oh
So we
gosh,
have
I
to
thought,
definitely talk more.
yeah,
We have to
yeah.
definitely talk
Yeah,
more after
that's
this.
funny. I don't know why I thought you were somewhere else, like Oklahoma or something.
And no, I'm in
Oh,
Texas.
that's awesome.
And I want to say we talked about it that day when we had the long conversation.
Maybe,
Um,
maybe. But hey, we're both in chemically induced menopause with
we're
chemo
both in
brain.
Texas, and
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't remember. I want to pivot for a second. Tell everybody what your mental has been like through the different stages. So, what
Sure.
was your mental like when you first found out?
Okay. Yeah. Whew. Wow. So I felt the lump, and I was in transition. I had already lost my coffee shop that was the small business I was working with, and I lost that, and so I was not in Texas yet. And when I felt the lump in my breast, I just wanted to go back to my favorite yoga studio that was in South Florida. I went hardcore, like comfort zone, right? And I don't have a tight knit family. I don't have a tight knit immediate family. I don't have a tight knit extended family. I have some family that I love and I keep in touch with, but none of them for me is a safe space to run to in these kind of situations. And so my safe space that I wanted to run to was in South Florida. So I packed up my car and I started heading. And this was January, and it was cold in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I did not want to be there in the cold. So I just drove south because I also wanted some time to wrap my brain around having a huge lump in my breast. I knew something was wrong, right? And so I headed south for the warm weather. And actually, I'll take a second to tell you this story. It's endearing. So I wanted to head down to Corpus Christi, Texas, because that's where I took my first steps as a baby, right? So when I was 1 year old, as a little toddler, I took my first steps in Corpus Christi. So I was feeling very nostalgic, going through the stress. And so I went there, and so that's what got me to Houston, is I started heading towards Florida again after visiting Corpus Christi. And I just liked Houston. I liked the crazy freeways. I stopped for a couple nights and I really enjoyed the city itself. And it had some really great yoga studios that I visited. And this is going to lead into another topic, which is faith in God and meditation and spirituality. So I ended up staying in Houston, Texas, and I found a little studio apartment and I settled myself down. I was very fortunate at the time. I had a remote job doing online bookkeeping, so I could do that, right? I could just settle wherever I wanted. Little did I know that this place had the cancer centers and the hospitals and the medical center with, I don't know, like, I think it's like 100 plus hospitals. I had no idea. And so fate happened, and I landed here in Houston. Um, but your initial question was, what were my mental states with all of the stages? So I settled myself in Houston. This all didn't take very long, maybe a week or two. And uh, and then it's like, all right, here I go. Time to find a doctor here, and find insurance. I was a small business owner. I was 39 years old and in great shape. I didn't have insurance, right?
Mm,
So to find a doctor, to find insurance, and because I felt the lump, I was really scared to get insurance because of waiting periods for, catastrophic, if were they going to cover my cancer? Like, do I have to wait 3 months or even 6 months to go get checked for cancer in order to have the insurance cover it. Will I be dead by then? Right? Like, I had all sorts of really hard situations and questions, and I was by myself, facing it by myself. My dad, he passed with cancer, and he really blazed the trail for me when it came to attitude. He really did. He really did. So I was just kind of just moving forward and figuring it out as I went, but it was really scary, really scary.
Was your dad the only person that the only relatable situation that you knew about, as far as, was that the only person that you knew in your family or that you were close to?
That blazed the trail for me? Yeah. Yep. I had other family members that passed with cancer, but nobody that I interacted with, and that I that I got some, how do I wrap my brain around this sort of a thing. Um, and then, what happened next, Crystal, is especially with the excruciating stress, excruciating stress of figuring out the insurance and how am I going to pay for this? And uh, I started looking at plane tickets to India to just walk it off. And here's transparency for everybody. I was facing getting treatment at all, like questioning whether I was going to get treatment at all. I don't have children. I'm not partnered. Like I said, I wasn't close with anybody in my family. And the stress I was feeling the 2 months prior, or the 2 years prior, was like, yeah, I really questioned whether I was going to get treatment or whether I was just going to let the cancer take me.
And those are really hard places to be in. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't really let you into the reality that I had a thought about not doing chemo, you know.
Yeah.
So for you to say it, like, I really thought about, am I going to get chemo? Am I not going to get chemo? Because even now, like in certain groups, I'll see,
Yeah.
ladies say, especially in the groups where they're like holistic
Right.
diets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so, I don't want to get chemo because that's
Right.
poison. I would rather go the holistic route.
Right.
And it's it's a choice. Like, we all have
Yes.
to figure out what choice
Yes.
works best
Yes.
for us.
And I would like to
And
think that I would not be judged harshly if I had chosen to just go walk across a warm continent and let my fate as it was in that moment play out, right? Like, I would
yeah,
like to think that I wouldn't be harshly judged by other people. So I also have no judgment for anyone. We're all facing our own lives. These are
yeah,
our
for
lives.
sure.
Yeah, and our relationship with what life means. What our own life means and what life itself means. We're all facing that with cancer. And when I
And my,
meet other people, I'm sorry, darling. When I meet other people who have had cancer or been touched by cancer with close people to them, it's that I think that connects us, is this appreciation for life itself.
yeah, that's really what it is. It's the appreciation
Yeah.
of life. And I was just gonna say that the one thing that I will tell anybody who's contemplating whether or not to do conventional treatments, chemotherapies, the radiations, the preventative care treatments, and things like that, the best advice that I can give you is do your research.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do your
Mm-hmm.
research. Okay? Like, everybody can walk around and say, I don't trust doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those people who barely, I was healthy, so I thought.
Right.
I was 32,
Right.
like, I'm out here working, 12-hour shifts and doing this, that, and the other, and taking care of kids, but I think I'm healthy,
Right.
and I don't really trust doctors. I don't
Right.
want to take pills. Even when I called in and he told me that I had a sprain, I didn't take those pills
Right.
because I don't You just gonna give me
Right.
pills? Like, make that make sense.
Right. Right.
However, when it comes down to cancer,
Mhm.
this is one of those things that I will tell everybody: do your research.
Mhm.
You need to know what your markers are,
Mhm.
first of all,
Mhm.
and you need to
Right.
understand that when you hear triple negative and you hear HER2 positive, those are not things that you should play with. And
Mhm.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Mhm.
Those are not like trial and error kind of things, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right. Right.
And I say that because, per the research,
Mhm.
triple negative at this point is one of the types that they have the less treatment
Right.
options for.
Right.
They're basically throwing everything they got at that.
Right.
So if they're throwing everything that they have at it, you have to think about, if I go and decide to go on a water diet, or if I decide to go on a fast where I'm only eating fruits and vegetables, if the harshest chemos that they have that they're throwing at it, you're getting a good chance that it'll get it, but that is the only, like, they're throwing it at it because there's not a lot of research.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of medications that can actually help it.
Mhm.
You have to do your research, and you have to know with her too, that is a fast growing,
Mhm.
that's fast growing. So you're racing a clock,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And I was diagnosed with triple positive, meaning it was hormonal and it was HER2
Oh
positive.
wow.
If it was hormonal and HER2 negative, um, it would have been a
Mhm.
different thing, because, well, then it wouldn't grow as fast. That HER2 receptor is something that is not meant to be played with.
Sure. Sure.
And I just want
My
to make sure
yeah.
that everybody knows.
Mine
Like, do
yeah.
your research.
Mine is HER2 negative. However, mine was rapidly growing at five
Yeah.
at 5.1 centimeters. It was an aggressive, rapidly growing cancer. Um,
And that was probably based off of
right.
hormones, because
Yeah. Yeah,
when
I
when
was
that
using the Mirena IUD, and so I had hormones getting put into my body, and it was the first time I ever used hormone birth control in my life. I was 37 when I got so I was 39 when I got diagnosed. I was 37 when I started the Mirena IUD that had the hormones.
now
So there
that's interesting.
right, right, right. So it was the first time I had allowed any sort of hormone adjustment, hormone treatment, right? Hormone, whatever, fill in the blank. It was hormone birth control, but it was the first time I had ever had any hormone birth control or hormone anything. So, yep,
That
who
and
knows?
that's another, that, and we talked about that before, when it comes down to like birth control
Mhm.
and things like that.
Mhm.
Like, that's why I say, do your
Yeah.
research and
Yeah.
always do what's best for you
You know what?
going through the
You
journey.
know the phrase looking for answers, right? Well, just starting to read, right? So doing research, you don't have to learn it all and you don't have to understand it all. But when you start reading, when you start looking, then you'll find things that will speak to you in one way or the other, right? Um, and so I guess I encourage, when it comes to do your research, I encourage an openness, not a fixed, I have to learn about, or I have to fully understand, but just an openness to start and hear and listen to other people's stories, right? Oh my goodness, Crystal, the Facebook group for introductory carcinoma. Oh my gosh, that Facebook group was so helpful through my treatment. So helpful. I would go on there. It would really ease a lot of anxiety for me, because I could go on there and I could type up a question and post it, and I would know that within 15 minutes I would have a couple of replies, and within 15 hours I would have dozens of replies. It was amazing, absolutely amazing, and all from women who were going through the same thing I was going through.
Yeah. And you have to know your type, and
Mhm.
we discussed that,
Yeah.
knowing how to feed. And if anybody needs to know how to go about joining groups, because, like I said before, I don't recommend that if you're newly diagnosed, that your first thing is to dive into
Mm-hmm.
groups because it can be overwhelming.
Sure.
But there is a way to get into groups, ask your questions,
Mm-hmm.
and basically search
Right.
the algorithm or search that particular group for answers where you're not overwhelmed with the amount of things that you're seeing in that particular group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Joan said that group is extremely helpful. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in that group as
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
well.
think that's how we
Um,
found each other.
yeah, I think that's the one I'm a moderator in or something.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Uh,
yeah,
may I
but I
say
don't.
may I say something about natural treatments real quick? Um,
Yeah,
I'm not. What I'd like to say is I'd like to just recall an experience. So I had two types of chemo, and my second was it my first? Anyways, I had the Red Devil. I'm sure some people on here will know what I'm talking about, right? Did you have that type, Crystal?
no,
No. Okay.
no.
So I had that type, and it's just they call it the Red Devil because it's this really big syringe that they're going to come put in your IV line that um, that is bright red. So they call it the Red Devil. I had the sweet nurse who was in school at the time, so she was really she was she was interning I think or something. But anyway, she was talking to me and she goes, "Do you know that this just comes straight from a tree? This is the sap of a tree. How naturopathic is that, right?" So
Yeah.
everything is from nature. It's just that the scientists have figured out how to condense it or combine it, or because that, I mean, that's what chemicals are, right? Is taking something from nature and altering it. Well, I think that some of the chemotherapy drugs and some of the pills that we take in order to help us in our Western world in Western medicine are not that far. Like I'm sure there's ones that take a lot of jumps and a lot of steps away from its original source, but I think there are quite a few that are not that far off from their original source in nature. And I just want to throw that out there because it was because I before was like you, Crystal, where it's like no thank you to doctors, no thank you to pills. I will eat broccoli and I will eat my vegetables and I'll be just fine, thank you, right? And there's there's times where all of us should question any and all of our thoughts. All of our thoughts and conceptions should be questioned. Like, is that something that holds true all the time, right? Maybe our thoughts hold true for this area over here in our life, but perhaps it shouldn't hold true when you're facing more of a life or death situation or fill in the blank. But just to that I wanted to share that moment where I had those two worlds readjust how they felt about each other. You know, the holistic I don't like doctor world and the okay, I'm getting the treatment plan. I've signed up for the treatment plan. Here we go. This is going to save my life.
So what was so you had the Red Devil. How many rounds? What was your treatment? What was your treatment plan, and
Yeah,
how did you get through it? Like,
sure.
was chemo hard for you?
Yeah,
Were you able to
yeah, I'm
manage?
excited to talk about that. So, I got the AC is the abbreviation for my first 4 rounds. I always forget the long names. And then my second round, oh, the AC and the Red Devil was my first 4 rounds, which I got every other week. So that took 2 months. And then my uh, second session was for 2 months. So I got chemo for 4 months, and my second session was Taxol, I'm pretty sure. And this is kind of a funny story, but it could be a good strategy. So it was in the middle of my second round, right? I had 2 rounds of chemo left. I had 1 month of chemo left. And the nurse was asking me how I was doing. And I said to the nurse, I was like, I just go home and I just sleep for 3, 4 days. And she said, really? Yeah, I found myself a job. My work history is a hotel restaurant manager and an elementary school teacher, and so I got a job at a local laundromat where I could work every other week through chemo. Right, so it was super flexible job that I could manage. So anyway, so I would sleep the week that I had chemo, and I would go fold laundry on the other week. And the nurse is like, really? You just sleep every day through it? And I go, yeah, well, I'm taking all the nausea medication as per its
Yeah.
instructions on the packaging, right? So I was taking, I think, 3 different types of anti-nausea medications.
Yeah.
And I was taking, if one said every 8 hours, I took it every 8 hours. I had a timer on my, phone that would tell me. And I had one that said every 5 hours, and I had one that said every 12 hours. And I was taking all of them. And the nurse is like, well, the nurse said, are you having nausea? Like, well, no, I'm just sleeping. She goes, yeah, the side effect of all those nausea drugs is tired and sleepiness. So I basically just
Slap it
yeah,
away.
slept it away for
I'm
the
not
most
mad
part.
at that. I am not mad at that at
Right?
all. I wish I would have slept it away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the off weeks, right? The weeks where I was not going through chemo itself, those were the ones where I was experiencing losing all my hair, which I had buzzed my head really, really short. And so I thought I was ready. Okay. But there's no getting ready for losing it all. Losing your nose hairs, losing your pubic hairs, losing your eyebrows, losing your eyelashes, and all the hair on your head.
Listen, I was happy about some of that until we had other issues.
Say
Um,
that again.
I said I was happy about part of that until I had other issues.
Right,
I was like, oh my
right,
goodness.
right,
Oh,
right, right, right. I I wanted to share. This is on my list. I wanted to share that I felt fine being bald when it came to like how I looked. Right, like I didn't care. I felt fine looking in the mirror and going out into my community. But when I went out, I would feel anxiety and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, why? Why? I have no idea why I am feeling this way. And then I realized how, like, imagine we've all had dreams, well, most of us, where we're naked in the dream, right? And you don't realize it until you realize it. Well,
yeah.
you don't, I think we realize we're naked because we feel air touch our bare skin. And so I was feeling the air touch my bald head, and it was triggering in me that I was naked in public. And
Wow. I didn't associate the two like that.
as soon as I figured that out, I was comfortable and it didn't bother me.
And I never thought about it that way. But my thing was I felt like God stripped me down. And this is
Mm,
what I told myself. I told myself that God had to strip me down so that I could see who I am
mm,
in the most
mm,
purest form.
mm,
Because, like you said, we lose the eyebrows, we lose the eyelashes,
mm-hmm,
we lose
mm-hmm,
the hair.
mm-hmm.
And when He strips you down to that,
Yes.
and it's like, oh my goodness,
Oh,
it's like
yes.
this is me. And you can have like sometimes I will walk past the mirror and look at myself in my face and I would just like bawl,
Yeah.
like you look sick,
Yeah.
you look like what you're going through. But then there were other days where I would just have to really just stand there and see me.
Yeah.
And when I say see me, like I had to stand there and just look. And I talk about this sometimes. There was a time when I was in the tub and I ended up taking a picture because I was like, it was something in my mind that told me, you're going to need to remember this,
Mm.
but you have to know that you're beautiful in
Mm.
all stages.
Yeah.
And I took this picture, and the light was just, I had my blinds cracked
Mm.
a little bit in the
Mm.
bathroom, and I was in the tub, and the light was just shining on my face
Mm.
perfectly. And I took this photo, and I bawled.
Mm.
And I tell you what, when I look at that picture, it's not edited. It doesn't have filters all over it or anything.
Mm.
It is me in
Wow.
my rarest, baldest form. And it
Wow.
taught me that I am
Yes.
beautiful. Tell me something, Danica, before you went through this journey, did you really feel beautiful? Like, did you really love
Oh,
yourself?
Crystal, I had no idea how beautiful I was. I had no idea until this all happened. No way. No way. No way. And women, I think all women could double or triple how they feel about themselves in that way and still not be too vain.
Let me tell you something. I didn't like me.
Mhm.
I didn't like the fullness of my lips because I grew up bullied
Mm.
by that. I did not I just didn't like me. I
Mhm.
didn't like my body. I didn't like, the weight. I didn't
Right.
like, even though my hair was always natural, it was always long and
Mm.
everybody else loved it.
Mhm.
I didn't like it because it seemed like I was just, eh,
Yeah.
eh, I was okay.
Yeah. Right.
But baby, y'all can't tell me nothing now. Like y'all
Right?
can't tell me anything about anything now. And the ironic part about that, I really want to pinpoint this because the most hardest part of the journey for a lot of women is when we lose our hair.
Mhm.
And that's the time that I personally love to interact with those who are going through the journey because
Yeah.
that is the time where you really have to tune into
Yeah.
reality. Like it ain't real.
Yeah.
It's not a real until you get your port
Right.
and until you lose your
Right.
hair. When
Yep.
you get your port and you get that first round of chemo in your system
Right.
and your hair is like falling out,
Yeah.
and that's when it is
Yeah.
real. Like this is not a dream. This is reality. This is my life.
Yeah.
And this is where we are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was something about doing the photo. Like the hospital asked me to do a photo shoot
Mm.
right after I lost my hair. And
Wow.
I
Yeah.
never felt so free, so
Yeah.
beautiful, so strong.
Mm.
So I don't give a, I ain't never felt that level of just peace.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I realized, like, the photographer was like, I love shooting you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm.
I brought more outfits.
Is
Hold that thought.
is that still with you? Is that still with you? Are those feelings still with you? Cuz you're
Those feelings,
you're 3 years, 4 years ahead of me, right? Like I just finished. And I don't want these things to go away. I don't want this deep gratitude to go away. I don't want to get all, feeling critical about my body and my looks again. And like I don't want to go back to how it was before. I want to hold
so,
on to these treasures.
so first off, Missy, I'm gonna talk about your comment in a second. I want to answer this question. So I will tell you this. Um, you know how they say a lot of people who go through the journey, they'll tell you like people expect you just to bounce back. It's hard to go by day by day trying to figure it all out and still try to focus on being healthy
Mhm.
and taking care of you when you have to pick up all of the pieces of the puzzle that just kind of crumbled around you.
Yeah.
But you have to make sure that you don't lose the essence of I really went through this.
Yeah.
You have to like, I have to sit down on the days when anxiety is super high, and I have to remember you went through it for a reason.
Yeah.
And although it doesn't look like, your life does not look like what you want it to look like in this moment, in this season, God allowed it for a
Right.
reason. And when it comes down to testimonies, it's one of those things that is not for me. But when I tell you, I love me in a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
way, I love me so
Mm.
deeply because every day I recognize that time is to be treasured,
Mm-hmm.
because there's people who did not make it where we
Yes.
are today.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when you go through losing people who were, I could reach out and touch,
Right.
I have to remember to love me
Yes.
so much that I'm not afraid of losing anybody or anything else.
Ooh, I just
And
got chills. Yeah.
it's it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy, because the more you love yourself and the more you choose you and the more you choose
Mm-hmm.
peace, it seems like the world tries to crumble you, and you go through more tests and more
Mm-hmm.
trials, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, pay attention to this. Pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to, you have to hold on
Yeah.
to that self-love.
Yeah.
You have to hold on to that joy. And you have to remember that at one point in time, I didn't even know if I was going to go through chemo because I didn't have insurance, but God made a way.
Right.
I didn't know if I was going to make it. I was really thinking that I may not be here in six
Right.
months, but I'm still here a year
And 6 months.
from that thought,
Yeah.
a year and a
Yeah.
half, 2 years from that
Yeah.
thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you have to remind yourself whenever you feel that the the negative things are starting to creep
Right.
back in. You have to remind yourself,
Yeah.
no, I'm worthy. I'm loved,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
God kept me for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
important. Like,
Yeah.
I just have to get
Yeah.
through this. And I honestly feel like the medically induced menopause thing, though, it will take you on that roller coaster.
Right.
Because some days I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, I'll stare at myself and just like, "Ugh, okay,
Oh.
this is where we are today. I don't feel me. I don't feel okay, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get through
Yeah.
this. And tomorrow or in an hour, I'm gonna be fine."
Yes.
But you do one day at a time,
Yes.
1 second at a
Yes.
time.
One step at a
All of
time.
those
Yes.
things, yeah, it matters.
Yeah.
I want to say something to Missy
Yes,
really quick. She
and
said,
I think you've been addressing, I've seen her comments too, and I think you've been addressing her comments perfectly with what you've been saying right now too. But yes, please give it some attention, please. Yes, wonderful.
and Missy, I want to say, because Missy said, I'm so scared. I just had my first treatment today, and I'm absolutely dreading this day. And I want to first let you know that my inbox is always open for you.
Mm,
And I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of people that I connect with, it's not on, I want you to share your story, share your journey. That's if at any given time you're ready. Even outside of that, I want to be of support to you. And I want to let you know that your journey is going to be full of signs, and it's going to have ups and downs. You're going to have emotions all over the place. One day you may be happy, one day you may be sad.
mhm,
You may probably be dreading the reality that you're going to lose your hair soon.
mhm,
And I want to let you know this. Losing your hair is one of the things that they tell you is going to happen. Take control. And and I'm not telling you what to do, but when you take control of this journey and you say, hey, I know I'm going to lose my hair, and you intentionally go ahead and you do it, and you don't, losing your hair is and can be very traumatic. Take
mhm,
control of that
mhm,
and document
mhm,
that.
mhm.
Record it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you to do this because one day you're going to be able to look back at how you reacted to losing
Mhm,
your hair,
mhm,
and you're going to remember that strength. You're going to need to pull that same
mhm,
strength after all of this is done to make it through, because I still go back. I hadn't looked at my haircut video. I can't even, a lot of times, I can't even look at my story.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
interview that I send people, I can't look at it because there's a lot of pieces in there
Right.
that pull my heartstrings even today.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
there's a strength there that you want to hold
Right.
on to. And you have to know that you're beautiful in all stages of this journey.
Mm-hmm.
You're beautiful with hair, without hair. You are worthy. You are loved.
Mm-hmm.
You are needed. And you have tapped into a resource, a support group,
Yep.
a sisterhood
Mm-hmm.
that is welcoming you with open arms. All you have to do is accept it
Yes.
and reach out at any point in time that you need us.
Mm-hmm.
Do not try to go through this journey alone. Do
Yes.
not sit there and go through the emotions of this journey alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many parts to this that I can be here all night telling you,
Yeah.
girl, you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose family members, you're going to start feeling like people aren't there for you. Like, there's so many parts of this journey that we don't really talk about. But sometimes we have to remember that God will isolate us in order to grow us. He's
Mm-hmm.
pruning us for
Mm-hmm.
something greater.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is that he's trying to pull out of you in this season, but be available to receive.
Yes.
And don't take this journey as a punishment, but as something that is meant to happen to grow you
Yes.
for wherever you're about to go.
Yes. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Missy. And also, I'd like to suggest, um, however it is that you're creative, to utilize that and make some notes along the way, um, and go to it when you need to have a friend that is just yours. I like to do digital artwork. And so I did an Instagram and Facebook account for myself where I would make digital posts, journal entries, digital journal entries through the whole experience from day one. Right, I had pictures of my port, and I could sit there. I use Canva, and I could sit there with Canva, and I could choose images, symbols, backgrounds, fonts, colors to help me express how I was feeling in that moment, or to help me maybe be a little distracted from what I was feeling, whichever one, right? But for me, it to have had that done, and now I can scroll through my Instagram and they're both crossing thin ice, which is what I'm on here through. But I can scroll through and kind of like Crystal's talking about her interview, when she was without her hair, when she was bald, her interview, and Crystal, your photograph that sounds absolutely gorgeous. Those are important. Those are important. And I think they help keep sanity both while you're going through it and when you need to look back on it. So if you're just starting your first treatment now, I remember my very first treatment, I brought a cup of tea in with me, and it was a yogi tea. And so it had a little message on the paper that you lift in and out of the, you know what I mean. And the paper said, embrace your current challenge. It may become your greatest gift. And I still have that little tag now. And I immediately took, and this is how I started this visual journal and this visual diary. It was from taking a picture of that tea bag. And I was like, wow, I want to save this message, and I want to be able to reflect on it later. Um, and so that's my suggestion. If you're right at the beginning, I suggest, maybe you like scrapbooking and don't want it to be on a social media platform, then do it at home. Or if you record your voice, record your voice. Whatever method, I'm going to suggest whatever method you already do. Don't try to do something new, right? Because we're creatures of habit. So even though I would rather have done, vlogging, video blogging, right? But that's not what I had been doing all my, for years prior. I've been doing little, I'd been doing advertising for my coffee shop. So I was really comfortable with Canva and making posts. So that's what I did. So do something that you already do, and let it be there for you, because that's taking the lessons and the fruits of what of your efforts up to this point in your life, and then putting them to good use in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will honestly, I wish that I was more transparent on like TikTok. And I will say this about TikTok, what I found ultimately, I know a lot of people are on TikTok, but if you're on TikTok, um, use this opportunity to be a light to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
say that because um, TikTok is my safe space.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go
Mm-hmm.
to TikTok and I've had episodes literally on TikTok, like emotional
Mm-hmm.
meltdowns on TikTok. And I find that because of the nature of TikTok, you have a lot of caring and compassionate people that will actually give you uplifting words instead of bringing you down.
Mm-hmm.
And you may
Mm-hmm.
be surprised at the amount of people who are not going through what you're going through, but just hearing your story, hearing about what you're going through, it kind of helps them navigate through things that they may find challenging in their own walk, in their own journey.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Crystal, that
at
really,
the end of it,
yeah. I'm sorry I cut you off, dear.
no, go ahead.
That also reminds me of something. So I told you at the beginning of the interview that I didn't have the close family knit or a relationship, but I made a community here for myself. But who ended up becoming my greatest support through my cancer journey was a friend that I had in a whole nother country. So, what I want to say to you also, Missy, is share how you're feeling and be open to whomever might be that great support. Because I know, Crystal, you said you were just talking on a different episode and recently about husbands and about spouses and about partners. Like, they're carrying a lot of load too. And maybe
Yeah,
that person who has some extra energy to give to you and wants to give it to you could be some friend on Facebook that you haven't talked to in 10 years. And they
yeah,
come around and
yeah,
they go, "Oh my gosh, I have this going on. I want to be there for, and they just naturally become there for you." This friend, you know, in another country for me, I talk to every day. Thank God we have the technology that we have nowadays. Crystal, you had TikTok that you could go to. I was on WhatsApp every day sending videos back and forth to this person who was there for me every day. And you never know who that you don't know going into it. You don't know who that person might be. So be open to talking to people and to asking for help and sharing how you feel. I know we don't, none of us do that as readily, I think, as do it now. You're starting cancer treatment. I didn't hold back. I talked about, and I still talk about my experience and what I went through. I don't push it on people, of course, but if the topic gets brought up or if someone asks me how I am, I answer. And I answer
yeah,
in a complete sentence, right?
yeah,
This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. And I highly recommend that, Missy. If someone asks you how you are, even if they mean it genuinely, even over so slightly, right? Like, of course, you make the call. If someone's just saying, "Hi, how are you?" and they really don't care, then of course say, "Fine, thanks, goodbye," right? But if someone asks you how you are and they mean it and they want to know, I hope you do share how you actually are. I really do.
yeah. And you made some very valid points. And I'm just sitting here cheesing. Yeah, although I know you can't see me, but I'm sitting here smiling because I was very quiet before going through this journey. And that was one of the things that I feel I was supposed to change. And
Mm.
a lot of times, and I wouldn't want to say this on live, but I can 100% understand when you say you don't have a strong connection with family.
Mm.
So I worked so much that like that was my thing. Like I was going to work, like I didn't have time to communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
I had responsibilities to take care of and
Sure.
things to
Yeah.
do, you know,
Right.
and so a lot of my relationships with my family over time, some ended for other
Sure.
reasons, and some was just like, okay, now I gotta focus on what's going on. This is a lot.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
will tell you, when you say, I learned that family is not necessarily what you're born into. It's
Right.
what you make it.
Yes. Yes.
It's the people that you make. And when I was first going through, there was a lady in Japan. This was my very first person that answered the call to
Oh,
transparency
wow.
for crystal transparency. She was in
Yeah.
Japan, and and I never we unfortunately we never got to actually do a video together, but we would I was up dealing with insomnia during
Oh.
chemo. So I'm up while the world is
Oh,
asleep,
I'm
but it's
sorry.
daytime
Ooh.
where she was.
Yeah. Right.
It was daytime where
Right.
she was. So we're up and we're talking to
Oh,
each
wow. What
other,
a
and
story.
it was awesome. And she was older.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Miho, and she was older, but she wasn't. I think she was in her 40s. I have to go back through the messages. They deleted her account. But she was one of the first people that I connected with going
Yeah.
through this journey. And then there's a list. I could tell you
Yeah.
a list of ladies that I have connected
Yeah.
with through this journey
Yeah.
where um we have been in communication with each other. And I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times I ain't gonna say a lot of times, when you're going through this journey, you feel like nobody understands you
Right.
unless they've gone through the journey.
Right.
Because it's like you can tell me that I gotta calm down
Right.
because my anxiety is high, but you don't understand why I have anxiety.
Right.
You haven't gone through the trauma,
Right.
the PTSD. You haven't had to experience losing your hair. You
Right.
haven't had to go through the emotional,
Right.
the mental, the financial traumas
Right.
and strains and
Right.
things that I've gone through in the same time frame that I've had to go
Yeah.
through them. And so it's easier for you to open up to people who can relate to what you're going through versus those who
Mm-hmm.
can't. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
laundry list of people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I
Yeah.
tell you I've been able to pop in and out of people's journeys like Shawanda, Lachey. I was there at the beginning of both of these ladies' journeys, and now they are on the outskirts of everything, and they're thriving. They're doing what they need to do in life, and regardless of if I don't talk to them for another month or 2 months, it is a pleasure to know that I can reach out and say, "Hey, girl, how
Yeah.
you doing?"
Yeah.
And they'll reach out to me and say, "Hey, Crystal, how are you?" We are still
Yeah.
connected because we're
Right.
sisters, and we don't have to talk every day.
Mm-hmm.
But
No.
they
Right.
understand me, they understand the journey, they understand what we're going
Mm-hmm.
through. And when you have those individuals, it makes your journey a lot, um, I don't want to say easier, it makes it more purposeful
Yeah.
because now you're y'all are able to just give each other the biggest hugs.
Oh,
I've met
yeah.
people at the hospital. Like Miss Barbara just popped in. Miss Barbara is one of my people. You hear me? Like all Miss Barbara gotta do is pick up the phone and say, "Crystal, I need," and I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same goes with me. Like you create this sisterhood, and it's unbreakable. You have been tapped into a community that you didn't want to be
Yeah.
in, but I promise
Yeah.
you, if you come in and you're willing to just
Be
do,
present. Mm-hmm.
yeah, just be present and
Mm-hmm.
be ready to
Mm-hmm.
receive.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's a lot of it.
yeah.
Be
Right.
ready to receive.
Right. Right. But you have, and you have to let it be known that you need the help, that you need the receiving part too, for sure. You know what? This brings up the mountain lion in the refrigerator story, and I think that story would be a great way to maybe end this episode.
I
Does
love it.
that sound good? Okay, and
Yes,
I'm really excited to share this story with you, Missy. Um, so it's not my story, and I will post later in the comments who wrote it, so that they get credit. But it was found in a group. It was found in a Facebook group. So it goes something like this. What is it like to go through cancer? Well, it's like one day going down into your kitchen and opening your refrigerator for some breakfast, and all of a sudden there's a mountain lion in your refrigerator. And you go, what? Wait, what? How? Why is it? No time to explain. Run. And you start running, and the mountain lion's chasing you. And you have to get up that mountain, because the only thing that can kill a mountain lion is a bear, and the only bear you know about is up that mountain. So you start going up the mountain, and all of your friends want to support you, and your family wants to support you, and the person who's there to take care of you, a family member or your husband, they want to support you, but they're powerless against a mountain lion. A mountain lion is an eating machine, and they're all powerless, but they want to help. So they give you cups of water and slices of orange, and they cheer you along as you go up the mountain running. And your husband gets punched in the face by the mountain lion, even though he's trying to help. And he saves you some time, but you still got to get up that mountain. Oh yeah, and there's other people in the crowd that say it's not really a mountain lion, it's a puma. And there's other people that say, I heard that mountain lions are allergic to kale. Have you tried rubbing kale on it? And you just kind of ignore those people and you keep running, right? Because you got to get to that bear. And you finally get to that bear, and it's waiting for you and the mountain lion. And it has to get through you to get to the mountain lion. And it does. And it totally kicks your ass, the bear. But it grapples the mountain lion, it holds on to the mountain lion, and here they are in epic battle, and then it kicks your husband in the face, and now your husband is rolling around on the ground with a black eye and a bloody nose, going, can someone please help me? I've just been punched in the face by two apex predators. And all you can say is, I'm kind of busy fighting a mountain lion, sorry. And the mountain lion and the bear, end up falling off the cliff. If you're lucky, the bear and the mountain lion fall off the cliff. And they're gone. And the mountain lion's dead, right? Maybe. It's a mountain lion. It's tricky. Maybe it could come back. Who knows? And you dust yourself off and you start walking down that mountain, and everybody's like, man, you're probably so proud of yourself. We're proud of you. You're probably so happy you didn't die. And as you deal with your asthma attack and your sprained ankle and your bleeding knees, you're just like, man, I never wanted to climb this mountain in the first place. So that is the mountain lion story. And of course, the mountain lion's cancer, the bear is your treatment. And I tell you what, I used those words, the mountain lion, the bear, the mountain, a lot at this one point where I was feeling pretty angry at the word cancer. And so use whatever you need at any time. If it's baths, if it's metaphors, if it's extra anti-nausea medication, use whatever you can use around you to take care of yourself and to love yourself and to get through what you are dealing with. That's all I have to say.
And I love that story. I do want to add, we are going to end kind of in a minute tonight, because she is on a different time right now that she's preparing for. And I kind of want you to go into that part,
Sure.
like what it looks like for
Yeah.
you right now.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you. Sure. Yeah. So I just finished a radical hysterectomy. I had my uterus with fibroids and my ovaries all taken out March 4th. So I am 6, 7 weeks out, maybe even close to 8 weeks out of that surgery. And finally, after 16 months since my cancer diagnosis, feeling like I can do something and I can travel, and I want to go be with that person that I mentioned was there for me throughout, there for me every day throughout my treatment. I want to go see that person in person, right? And now I finally can. And yeah, so I definitely feel I had a aesthetic closure, so I don't have breasts now. So I'm going through a new body image, new clothes. I don't have my long blonde hair anymore, right? So I'm going through this rebirth. And there are days where it's really hard, and there are days where it's really inspirational. Like, wow, I'm kind of a blank canvas. What do I want to what do I want to make of my life now that I have this deep gratitude and lust for life itself? And so you're gonna go through this. You're gonna be reborn, and that rebirth for me right now is magical, magical. Yeah.
And I do want to leave you with some resources, two groups that I would love for you to connect with. Um, Texas Flatties
Mm-hmm.
is one,
Ooh,
and
Texas Flatties. Thank you.
Texas Flatties is one, and Blunt Flat Revolution. These two ladies have been on Crystal Talks Cancer in the past, and when I tell you, it is a whole
What's the
experience.
second
I
one
had the
again, Crystal?
Blunt Flat
Okay.
Revolution,
Thank you.
and I can send them to you.
Thank you.
If for whatever reason if you don't have them or you can't find them, let me know and I will give them. I will send you the links to them
Thank
and
you.
connect you with those ladies. Um, because I feel like you ladies are so strong um, to go through, and I know the support, like seeing the support system that Texas Flatties and Plum Flat Revolution gives to women who have had closures. Listen, y'all are so beautiful, so brave, and I admire it. I respect it, and I just thank God for you and your transparency, and for you just coming here today, even being willing to say yes to a stranger. Because a lot of times it's like, I don't know you. I know you went through the journey, but girl, and we talked on the phone and it felt like we've known each other
Yeah.
before. And it was just so easy. And I thank you for your heart,
Mm.
your words, your journey, sharing the words that you poured into others. And Missy, I want to say to you, if you have about 10 or 15 minutes, I want to give you 10 or 15 minutes to kind of me and you talk on Messenger if you're okay with that, if you're ready for that. Um, just send me an inbox message once you get the opportunity, and I'll call you on Messenger so that we can kind of
And
talk. So if there's
I'm
any,
sure Crystal, Missy, I'm sure Crystal will be fine even if you just cry the whole time and that's all she hears. So don't be afraid
oh
of just crying.
yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is. If there's anything in this part that you want to talk about, even if it's not tonight, if it's another day, that's fine. I was just saying tonight, because you're here tonight, and
Right.
I don't want to miss the opportunity to make a
Oh,
connection.
oh.
Um,
She just said yes,
so,
definitely. How nice. That's wonderful.
so
I'm so
will
glad.
definitely,
Yeah.
we will definitely
Oh, that's
talk
so great.
in a minute. Um, Donovan, is there anything else that you want to say before
You
we end?
know what? I just want to say for people who watch this in the future, or if Missy, if you go through a flat closure, or even the radiation, right? So when I went through radiation, I rubbed the cream just on the one side, and now my scars are very asymmetrical. So this is just a housekeeping tip of like, if you rub cream on one side of you, rub cream on the other side. Just keep it balanced.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, right? If there's something
That
I
is a
could
good
go back
tip.
and do different, I'd rub cream on both sides. And then the other thing that I would go back and that I really want to tell women who get the aesthetic flat closure is at 3 weeks after your surgery, your stretching is not going to be like muscle stretching where you go little at a time. You have to push through the um, scar tissue, or you can lose mobility in your shoulders, permanently lose, not all mobility, but you could lose some of the mobility in your shoulders if you don't push through. And the doctors say stretch, right? But for me, and I'm sure for other women, because none of us, well, I didn't ever have to stretch scar tissue. I think the doctors for me didn't explain it well enough that when you hear stretch, you think muscle stretch. This isn't muscle stretch. This is scar tissue stretch. So look up
Yeah.
how to stretch scar tissue because it's very different. You have to push through the pain. You have to push further. And I actually lost a little bit of mobility in my left shoulder because I didn't start stretching until week 4 and I didn't stretch hard enough. And then I went to radiation and the doctor said, "Oh, wow, no, you have to stretch. You have to stretch this way and you have to push really hard and you have to go through the pain of the scar tissue ripping." So those are the only 2 things left on my list that I really wanted to share, because if my journey can make your journey, whoever's listening, if my journey can make your journey easier, then my journey became more valuable.
Thank you. And the stretching part is a good thing for no matter what surgery you get. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to add that because I ended up with
Yeah, cording.
oh,
Yeah,
cording. Yeah, cording. I was like, wait, chemo brain, cording.
yeah.
So yeah, stretching is definitely a good one.
Yeah, I think I
But
have some
Donica,
cording from my hysterectomy. But yes, I'm going to go. Thank you so much. This was really a wonderful experience, Crystal. Thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored. And thank you for this service that you are providing to our fellow human. Thank you so much.
thank you. And I look forward to us being on here together again.
Likewise.
And you put something in my mind talking about flat closures. I'm going to reach out to the other ladies and kind of see what I can get going and have you and them on at the same time.
Great.
So
Oh,
we're
that sounds
definitely
great.
going to stay in touch. Please enjoy meeting
Definitely.
your person.
Thank
Send us
you.
photos
Oh, thank you. I
uh,
will.
so that we can share it. And you are in the group now. So, like I
Wonderful.
said, post there. And Missy, I will be calling you for everyone who is
Thank you,
watching.
Missy. I'm
Thank you
so glad you
so
were
much.
here.
Thank you so much for just staying and hearing and being kind and taking what you need from this. And I look forward to seeing you all next week on another episode of Crystal Talks Cancer. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you
Bye.
next Thursday. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.